person himself to the correct course.
We not only have moral degradation, we not only have the collapsing society around us, but it's bad for that being itself. That being itself is unique. That being has rights. And who are we to say, just because we're older, that we get to murder it? Thank you.
It's very important we must then articulate, what does it mean to be a nation? In English, it is the 3 Ps. It is people, it is principles, and it is place. You remove one of the 3, you'll start to disappear. Remove 2 out of 3, you're basically gone. 3 out of 3, you don't exist. So let's play this out. First of which is people. This is the most obvious. If all of a sudden Japan became all Muslim from Saudi Arabia, it wouldn't be Japan. But let's also talk about place. If all of a sudden we took the entire population of Japan and put you on Madagascar, is that Japan? No, it's something else. That's not the place that your ancestors are buried. That's not the place that you love. That's not the place with the shrines that you take seriously. So place really matters. But also principles. And don't forget the principles part. America is a principle nation alongside the other 2. What are the ethics, duty, the culture, and the history? The globalists seek to remove all 3. They don't want you to live in your land anymore. They don't want the people to be there, and they want to change the principles of what it means to be in Japan. If you can articulate those 3 things, we can better then coordinate and harmonize our shared objectives against the globalist. It's place, it's people, and it's principles.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is this is kind of maybe a hard stream to go through, because this is, such. I don't want to say it. This is not going to be the end of political violence. This is going to be the start of something really bad, and things are going to get ugly regardless of how it's resolved. I have a few. I have my tweets lined up, and obviously we will be talking about the Ukrainian girl, and this, it'll obviously play into a larger thing that just things are bad. Things are bad, but they do not have to be. We can change things. Charlie Kirk was able to build a whole political coalition organization at the age of 18 with $10,000. And I do think if there is any time to actually get involved, now is the time. Do not let them silence you. Please. This something is going to change. And we will look back at this moment. And will you be able to tell yourself, I was a part of that change. I was able to make my nation, my country, a more prosperous place, a safer place, a place that my children will be able to grow up in and not have to risk their life merely from taking public transportation back home from their job at a pizza factory or some pizza shop. This is dire. And if you want to live in a country that you will be able to look fondly of, that you will be able to raise children in, there is no better time than now to get involved. Now, I just like to share and by the way, I will not be adding these caveats at all. It's I disagreed with this person or this person. No. I'm over that. I'm over with I think cancel culture is bad. We've lived through cancel culture, and that has been the normal. It has never been acceptable to just openly advocate for assassinations, for this sort of evil. Okay, I'm done being like giving people benefit of the doubt and to say they will grow out of it when they're older and when they enter the real world. Remember that back in 2017, these college kids who are like completely unhinged. Well, a lot of them entered the real world. They're working for different TV stations. They're working on video games. They're obviously working at all sorts of banks. It's this is the climate that they have created, and so I am not going to shed a tear over somebody losing their job for openly praising and celebrating death. But like they have canceled and doxed people and completely destroyed people's lives for much worse, much more innocuous things. And I just like to share this. You can tell a lot about a person by how they react when someone dies. And that's from November of 2016. I don't even know who this is referring to back in 2016. But yeah, doesn't that ring so true? Yeah, and then speaking of I said, they're working on video games. I did see, so this person was working on the new Ghosts of Yote game, which is a sequel to Ghosts of Tsushima, a like very high profile AAA PlayStation game. And this was on Blue Sky, of course. And so this is Grum's posting this, how it's versus how it's going. And this person, she, her, Seattle. I hope the shooter's name is Mario. I'm quoting this, by the way, so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. And then reposting someone, he died doing what he loved, being a transphobic, racist bigot. And obviously, you can see in the bio, texture/look dev and annoying extrovert at Sucker Punch, which is the developer, a first party PlayStation developer working for Ghosts of Yote. But then we see Drew punching Nazis till I die. And you can see, removed any sort of ties to Sucker Punch and saying, if standing up against fascism is what cost me my dream job I held for 10 years, I would do it again 100 times stronger. So yeah, like we are seeing this, like people are getting fired now for openly praising and celebrating death. I'm beyond feeling sympathy for these people, because if they are wishing death on Charlie Kirk, just imagine how they feel about you if they were to know your name, if you were just as influential as he was. Because that is what's happening. I did see a tweet that's like, they kill Charlie Kirk because they don't know your name yet. Yeah, but I just like to say we are experiencing a fundamental transformation. Like this seems to be very, like, obviously I was not alive during the JFK assassination or the Martin Luther King assassination, but this definitely seems to be something on that level. And obviously, if any of you are old enough to remember either of those assassinations, thank you for watching, of course. But yeah, do tell what you felt. But this Drew Pavlo character, I'm not too familiar, but I know he's kind of like, was like a centrist, maybe like a pro Destiny but anti Hassan guy. But he says that Charlie Kirk and his death has pushed him to the right, and I think he did write this out very spectacularly. He had the exact same views as my Trump supporting parents who I love. He had the exact same views as half my extended family, just regular boomer conservatism, and thousands of leftists celebrating him being shot in the neck and bleeding out in front of his 3-year-old daughter. If they want that for Charlie Kirk, they want that for my parents and my other loved ones too. And I won't stand for it, because I'm not a suicidal, spiteful mutant with hatred for my own family, my own parents, my own civilization. I love the people who raised me, and I'm loyal to them. And I won't ally myself with people who want to murder them just because they have old-fashioned values that were completely common throughout 99% of modern history. a love of faith, family, church, nation. That is excellently said. This is wonderfully said. Like I could not have said this better myself. But yeah, let's continue. I have a lot of tweets in this docket talking about Charlie Kirk. Just like like I have fallen victim to doom scrolling. I don't think I have been doom scrolling this much ever since the Trump assassination attempt. That first one. Because if you remember in 2024, not to make this about myself, that is what made me that is what made me return to YouTube. Essentially, I believe it was that one stream where I was like, I need a stream about this. I have not posted in months on YouTube. This I need to speak about this. And obviously, I have been more active this year than I have last year. But this is something that needs to be said. And I just hope to encourage you all just to don't be stupid, first off, and that you like he was 18 building Turning Point USA, and like he supposedly met a lot of people who was a very charismatic person. But this tweet, which I from sometime this year or maybe late last year, talking about Luigi Mangione. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing podcast culture tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. And I said this myself back in my believe it's my second video coming back this year. I spoke about pop culture, and I did kind of haphazardly insert a section about Luigi Mangione, which probably should have been a separate video. But I was absolutely correct in what I said. Charlie Kirk is absolutely correct in what he said here. Right? You saw a bunch of very spiritually unhealthy people, mentally unhealthy people, physically unhealthy people that were praising Luigi Mangione for what he did. And I think you could tell at that point that if Brian Thompson was the guy,
very important. We must then articulate what is it?
Why did that play? Twitter, why are you so garbage? Okay, that completely interrupted my thought. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about. Man, I don't even have my little avatar up. Let me just. Okay, okay, never mind. I'm not having my avatar up. I have the Sonic, or not the Sonic. Yeah, well, it's Sonic, not Sonic 2, the popsicle stick. But yeah, now like he predicted it, and now he's fallen victim to it. And like Charlie Kirk of all people, like he was not. You know, it's hard to explain. He was not like vicious. He was not mean spirited. He debated people that he disagreed with. He had an open dialogue with those, that disagreed with him. And that's what got him shot. Which this content, this sort of debate is never going to it's not going to come back in the way it was. That crowd that Charlie Kirk amassed in Utah the day he died was massive. And I'm assuming it wasn't a paid thing because he wanted to change the minds. It would have been so much easier for him to just go on these speaking tours and do what basically every politician does, where they go speak at colleges. And obviously, he was speaking at college, but an indoor event that has a bunch of security, getting money from these institutions just to speak at them, like Chelsea Clinton, right, the daughter of Hillary Clinton. She gets a lot of money. She got a lot of money speaking at colleges. Some other people too, just $40,000 just for speaking at one event. And obviously, with that money, he would be able to pay for security, which I'm assuming he did have security. But when you're in an open environment such as that, yeah, they're like, it's not as much of an enclosed environment. Yeah, I just saw this right before. Blue Sky warns users not to celebrate assassination of Charlie Kirk after dozens of horrific messages posted. I haven't read this article yet, so hopefully there's there's gonna be horrible stuff that's said here, right? Unless, yep. Okay, do these idiots even 5.7k likes on Blue Sky? I'm not sure if that's a lot for Blue Sky, but do these idiots even realize that shooting Charlie Kirk makes you a worse person than Charlie Kirk? The murder of Charlie Kirk was criminal, wrong, and should be condemned, and Charlie Kirk was a horrible hateful. Oh my goodness. Spends life radicalizing young people to embrace their worst demons by targeting women, people of color, immigrants, and the marginalized. I refuse to sanitize him. Okay, yeah, notice the last names of these guys. Rip Charlie Kirk. You would have loved politicizing the shooting of Charlie Kirk. The person who motivated the shooting of Charlie Kirk was Charlie. Victim blame. They're against victim blaming unless it's somebody they disagree with. Yeah, these. I'm assuming this is like probably some of the softer messages, right? Because Blue Sky safety, glorifying violence or harm violates Blue Sky's community guidelines. Yeah, maybe they should probably enforce their community guidelines more. They should have been enforcing it like before this. Because I've taken a couple of scrolls through Blue Sky. Yeah. We review reports and take action on content that celebrates harm against anyone. Violence has no place in healthy public discourse, and we're committed to fostering healthy, open conversations. YouTube spokesperson Jack Mallon said the video site was elevating news coverage while stripping out graphic clips and age-restricting others. He added that YouTube banned content reveling or mocking the death or serious injury of an identifiable individual. My bad, I didn't know. TikTok and X did not immediately comment. That's very, very telling that even YouTube was willing to say, like, talk about, hey, this is how we're covering this Charlie Kirk assassination. Not even TikTok or X, Twitter. Which you think obviously Trump saved TikTok and Twitter very I feel like the reason the New York Post is so popular is because of Twitter. Yeah, and we have been seeing some celebrities talk about Charlie Kirk's death, and in a very uplifting. I'm not too sure who this person is, but I have also seen Chris Pratt. I might have a Chris Pratt tweet here, but he spoke up against Charlie Sheen did too. I guess let me see it. I have a bunch of tweets we can go through, so we'll get there. But yeah, this piece of garbage has over 1 million followers. Guess her compassion stops at Gaza, and so he was a father. I guess he's a deadbeat now. Yeah, and then over 1 million followers on TikTok, and just completely just celebrating his death. It's like if you're going to celebrate him, how are you going to feel about all of his followers, all the people that somewhat would side with him over those like college liberals, not like I wasn't his biggest watcher, but like, yeah, I probably agreed with him more than I did whoever he was debating quite a bit. Like he debated Vosh like in 2020, I remember. Which, like, obviously, when you're up against Vosh, of course, I'm going to side with Charlie Kirk. Let's see, and this is a TikToker. Okay, this is multiple clips together. I'm just gonna, dude. What are those tattoos, dude? Literally, just make yourself look like a criminal.
Like, no matter what side of politics you're on, you should never celebrate something bad happening to someone. I, on the other hand, do cheer when bad things happen to bad people.
See, here's the thing. In what way is Charlie Kirk a bad person other than his politics? Because he married, like he was a very faithful Christian, right? He married the mother of his children, which I'm sure the marriage came before having children, but like he's active in his children's lives despite being a celebrity, which can that really be said about many other celebrities?
Charlie Kirk just got shot. Ah! Well, break it.
These are people that you have to like walk by. Like what wait, hold on. Who is this? What's that at? Horticultural reset? Yeah, demon.
Folks, seems somebody just took a shot at.
Is this the same guy I put in I featured in my Hulk Hogan short?
One of the Fanta Fascist's favorite 5 mile wide mouthpieces,
The Fanta Fascist. Okay.
Charles Chucklefuck Kirk.
Let me just mute that. Even like, by the way, I should mention now that this stream is not monetized at all. You can't, or are you? I see a super chat icon. What's going on here? Chat. I'm trying to make sure. Like, okay, monetization is off, but for some reason. Okay, so it seems like you are able to still send super chats even though I turned off monetization. So you should not be seeing any ads. If you are seeing ads, I did not do it. I went into YouTube manually to turn off monetization. I just like to make that very clear right now. Yeah. And see, you might think that obviously there is the idea that this is a very fringe sort of, fringe TikTok liberals, like they're the ones celebrating, which like, to be fair, like TikTok is not a fringe platform. It's not like we're talking about Telegram here, but this is in the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives attempts to hold a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk, but the Democrats protest. I'm pretty sure C-SPAN doesn't like copyright block anything. The audio does seem to be fairly low. I'm assuming it's probably like Lauren, what's her name, Boebert or MTG, like one of those congresswomen trying to hold a moment of silence.
Let's wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay?
This is going to happen more as because boomers love their decorum and they love being nice and respectable, which that's as the boomer generation retires from Congress, assuming they're not there until they literally die, then it's that we're just going to see more of this. Like this politics used to be about being respectable, right? But now it's literally about being based, or like dunking on a chud would be, I guess, the equivalent to that. And then, oh my goodness, dude, are you feeling radicalized today? Yeah, let's see. See, I wouldn't be. I want to genuinely. I don't want them in Congress anymore. I don't want them to have power if they are literally like the day of his death doing this. They're acting this way.
Basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all
What drugs do you think this woman's on? SSRIs, birth control?
ran.
Can you describe just, did he appear to be moving afterward or what?
Not at all. I personally believe he was dead on impact.
Oh my goodness.
Basically,
just Is that somebody how you describe, like, you witness somebody die? You, like, in front of you. I like, genuinely. How do you witness anybody die in front of you? Like, and then this is your reaction. Like, and you think she would be, emotionally moved by this? Like, oh no, he's dead. Is this, wait? Okay, no, okay. This is to do with Charlie. We won't make it. We won't make it about her just yet. We'll stay on we will stay on Charlie Kirk, because I did see this clip going around, and I guess this is from the real Alex Jones account, and I believe this is him on Tucker Carlson's podcast, and this does ring very deeply.
Political radicalism needs a catalyst. Political radicalism does not come out of peace, prosperity, rising wages, stable families, church attendance, and happy people. Happy people, grateful people do not get behind Vladimir Lenin, and they certainly don't get behind Chavez or Castro.
That's right.
People that own nothing, that feel like their property is diminishing, or they don't have property, or their dollar is diminishing in value, they start to look for alternatives. And so the political project in front of us as conservatives should be, how do we actually de-radicalize the country in the next couple of years? That's my obsession. And that's why I say I try not to think about all this other stuff, because it just, it's such brain space. My number one obsession is I know what is coming next. Political.
That's dark, because like he is true. Like you're not gonna, if you are well off, you are not going to be some niche online, like, schizophrenic, political guy. You're not like the guys posting on Twitter with anime pro, like myself, right? Like, they're not the ones that have a wife and kids and something to lose. And here's the thing. Republicans, for the most part, historically have had something to lose. And when it comes to young men who have shifted rightwards in this most recent election, assuming, is that, oh my goodness, it's still,
What advice do you
Twitter, can you work with me here, please? Okay, back on, where is the clip? Okay, here it is. Okay. Yeah, so like being an activist, or being like, for, you can see it in these socialist types, right, in college. Like, they probably didn't have a father, they probably don't have stable relationships, especially with anybody of the opposite sex, and you, like, that's why, like, they are so empty and hollow, and obviously they don't go to church. They are not fulfilled by God. They want to destroy him. And they will never destroy him. They will never be happy. And we are seeing that with young men. As to get to my point before, I was rudely cut off by Twitter just randomly unmuting and playing a video. Like, young men, the reason that they have shifted rightward so much is because things have gotten so bad since 2020. And that's the reason why Andrew Tate is popular, because things have gone so bad in the dating market. In fact, it is probably even worse now than when Andrew Tate first started talking about it, or when he really got popular. Because I know, like, Andrew Tate has been kind of online for much longer than when he just, like, popped off because of TikTok out of nowhere in, like, 2022. Because if you do not provide a good alternative to what they are experiencing, they will flock to somebody who's giving them an answer. Right? If a man is, they're not, like, if a man just, like, I'm not successful with women, and frankly, the ones that I could date or could, like, get laid from, I'm not really interested in, they are fat pigs. What is the liberal answer to that? There's nothing. There's nothing. It's literally just, oh, accept it. Be some, like, orbiter to some bitch, right? That is the answer. Whereas Andrew Tate is, praising masculinity. Then obviously he inserts his like Islam and his own stuff into that, which, you know, does repel some other people. That's the same here. Things have gotten so bad that, and obviously the left, Democrats, liberals, they don't know how to speak a male language. Everything got so feminized. Corporate America, everything just got worse and more hostile towards men who are actually born in America. Remember, this year we experienced a month where net job growth amongst Americans who were born in America were outpacing foreign-born jobs. For years, we were experiencing job growth solely in foreign-born workers. So when these young men who were disaffected for so long, they just held their nose like, you know what? I'm voting for Donald Trump, mostly because they know what exactly was in store for them with 4 years of Kamala Harris. And, you know, in a way, they could relate to how they treated Donald Trump. Because hatred of conservatives, hatred of the police, it stems from hatred of their own father and hatred of God. So Charlie Kirk is 100% right here. I would probably not be speaking into this microphone right now. I probably would have not started this YouTube channel in the way that it is now if I was like completely satisfied with the way things were. If I was completely satisfied with the people around me, the community I live in. This is why people go into their echo chambers, their online communities. Because there is a lot of you in chat I would trust over some people I am forced to interact with in my real life. Shout out to all of you in the chat. Ooh, okay. Yeah, back on. So, yeah, this is H3H3's reaction, who H3H3 historically is more on the left. So, let me be very clear. Let's give people credit where credit's due. There are absolutely people on the left who are horrified by what just took place yesterday at the time I'm streaming this.
Well, like I said at the time, and people on the left were even criticizing me. They go, oh, Ethan was talking bad about Luigi. How much has he changed? That was my point. He went out and murdered this guy, right? What changed? Not a single fucking thing changed. That's not how we enact change. And so I wouldn't recommend watching the video, but for me, it it's terrifying.
I'm genuine. Like I've had many problems with H3H3. Everything that has happened to him this year is only making me like him more. Everything, right? To be fair, I'm not an avid watcher of H3H3, but
I feel like it's such a terrifying moment for everybody, and to understand this is what we've come to, and I can't help but think about the poor wife.
I do genuinely think we're going to experience a turning point. That's okay. So maybe bad choice of words, but like with H3H3 specifically, I do think I'm not saying he might go like rightward, but I feel like he seems to be definitely more rational nowadays. But to be fair, I'm not like an avid watcher of his podcast, so
kids. Yeah, we've all been scared. Some of us have been looking into getting our concealed license permit.
Yeah,
but seeing it like that.
H3, I do feel like I could genuinely sit down and have a conversation with. Could you say the same with like Hassan Piker? You know?
I definitely made it more realistic and very scary.
I've avoided watching the video, but I heard Ethan's reaction when he saw it. I was like, I knew that was something you don't see every day.
I was brought to tears then because I don't know. I don't think I need to explain it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope people take this seriously.
The worst part is if the like far left people, if there are any still watching him, you know, that were like kind of from Hassan's audience, he probably shed a lot of viewers that day, assuming there are any still left. But like genuinely, I feel like he like ever since Burning the Bridge with Hassan Piker and that iDubbbz content cop, I feel like he doesn't have that far left audience anymore. Like the far left hates him. Arguably even more than the far right. Because I don't hear the far right talk about H3. Okay, you know what? We're not making this about H3. This is about Charlie Kirk. Chris Pratt. Praying for Charlie Kirk right now, for his wife and young children, for our country. We need God's grace. God help us. We have celebrities that are working for Disney. And I you know, obviously he's the voice of Mario, so he's working for, I believe, NBC Universal, right? Which you would think, like, remember, Disney canceled Gina Carano, and that was over 4 years ago, and now they are bringing her back into the fold. Not to distract too much from the main point, but we are in things are looking up for us than they were in 2021. 2021 was genuinely horrible. 2021 was a dark age. Gina Carano got canceled. Remember, and it was for a very innocuous post saying, hey, 1940s Nazi Germany did this to dehumanize people. Let's not do the same here. The timing was a little too close to January 6th. Therefore, they got her fired from The Mandalorian. And if you remember, internet censorship was at, like, I would say, an all-time high in 2020 and 2021. And you would not be able to say things about the Ukrainian girl if it was not for Elon Musk buying Twitter. And Elon Musk right now, my respect for him has gone up for what he's been doing. Obviously, we're not going to get into like every single issue I may have had with him at some point. I'm not interested in that right now. But we need to understand that this is going to be things are going to be looking up, but things will get ugly. But we have mainstream celebrities that want that, like, no bones about it. There are people less prominent than him that has to like add all these caveats that are like, I don't agree with him at all. Like he, you know, he may be, you know, he may have some things I disagree with. He did not deserve to die for it. No, Chris Pratt just went out right and said it. I like make that very clear. And there's a bunch of sports celebrities also praying for Charlie Kirk, making these statements. Not the LA Dodgers, the New York Yankees, they held a minute, maybe 15 minutes of silence for Charlie Kirk. He was a very mainstream celebrity, and he's very well spoken, very straight laced, and they still killed him. And as I said before, if they are willing to go after someone as nice as Charlie Kirk, as generous as Charlie Kirk, someone as straight-laced as him, what do you think they want to do to you? Remember that. And yeah, here's a clip of Charlie Kirk's daughter. Man, this is horrible. 2 children who will be without a father. And a father who is actually in their lives. Melania Trump did have a really good tweet about it. And okay, I think I already did mention this. And okay, this is a Japanese person and Japanese name, so please my apologies if I get some pronunciation wrong. Senseido leader Kamiya on Charlie Kirk's assassination. We are stunned and heartbroken at the news of Charlie Kirk's passing. He became more than a distinguished guest, he became a comrade. Charlie left us with a wealth of vital messages. We will honor him by carrying it forward here in Japan. And I've been seeing like many different places, like in Spain, in Honduras, and obviously Japan, and also South Korea. Charlie Kirk was a phenomenon. He was a well-known figure. And hopefully Japan can avoid some of the immigration issues that we have been facing. But we'll see. But here's what I was kind of alluding to earlier with Joe Rogan and Charlie Sheen, like finding out Charlie Kirk was shot. Just like, I haven't seen this clip before.
Should we bring this up? I guess we have to. So this is just
was this like a cold open? Was this like at the beginning?
happened. We just found out that Charlie Kirk got shot,
It's fucking awful.
and
Okay, and by the way, I just like all you to know, don't do something stupid. Please do not crash out over this. You can turn this anger, you can turn this anguish into something that is productive. You do not, like, I'm not saying, oh, you don't have to take the low road. You don't have to make yourself out to look like a complete maniac. But like, for those that have read Ted Kaczynski's book, his book would be a lot more appealing if he didn't become the Unabomber. If he did not commit an act of terrorism, then a lot more people would probably be willing to hear him out.
is he dead?
That's what was just.
One of the guys out there just said,
Yeah, so this was right when he was shot. So like, it's because there was an hour between him getting shot and him actually dying, as far as we were concerned.
confirmed that he's dead.
In the lobby was just.
I've been looking. I haven't seen anything that said confirmed.
Whoa.
Let me be okay. I don't like getting too personal, but I do plan on going back to church weekly, and I intend on inviting some people that I know that have maybe been scorned by the church or haven't gone in a long time either. Because if there is a time to pray, it is now. Please, for this country, for Charlie Kirk's family, for everyone.
Murder for having a different opinion from somebody else.
Yeah.
Different ideology from somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Beliefs that didn't
who
align.
did it or,
Yep.
I'm
he's
sorry?
dead?
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Or in
Fuck.
Fox News.
Jesus. 27 years old, maybe? 30?
Do they even have a suspect?
I don't know. Well, that's why I don't. I'm literally trying to track it all on Twitter, and it's all.
Fuck. Nobody deserves it. He doesn't deserve that. Nobody deserves that.
Man. Yeah, so yeah, I'm glad. Yeah, that we can't keep letting this happen. There's going to be a copycat, and somebody else is going to get shot. And we're going to get normalized to this, just as we're normalized to crime in the streets, just as we're normalized to like seeing homeless people just shoot up in the streets. We are going to get normalized to this if something doesn't change. Let's see. Ben Shapiro, who did speak on college campuses, so he might. Ben Shapiro might be next. Who knows? Is it really going to be risking your life just to speak at a college or any public event?
believing that Charlie was a wonderful human being, is the fact that for 10 years, more than that, I went to college campuses, did the same thing that Charlie did. And I always said to my wife and to people around me, they would say, well, you know, is it safe? And I'd say, of course it's safe. This is America. And sure, security would tell you to put on a bulletproof vest, but do you need a bulletproof vest to speak freely in America? Do you need hundreds of... I always thought it was overkill. I do not think it's overkill anymore. I think that we've entered into a new world, a world where huge percentages of the American public, by the polling, are okay with violence against one another based on speech, where excuses are made, permission structures are created for murder because you disagree with the political position of another human being. I'm not sure how we get back, except by appeal to the exact values that Charlie stood for. Open debate, normal discussion. The thing about all the videos of Charlie...
Open debate and normal discussion died with Charlie Kirk. Like you cannot... like somebody like Charlie Kirk cannot die debating college students, and you know people won't feel safe doing so anymore.
He's unfailingly polite in these videos to people. When he is having these discussions, he is polite. He was having polite, normal conversations with people who disagreed on these college campuses, and for that he was murdered.
Man, dude, like, this is... Oh yeah, and then obviously there are the people who are blaming the Trump's rhetoric. It's too much. It's too much. Him and Thomas Massey, who we might as well go with Thomas Massey next. But Dave Portnoy says Donald Trump played a huge part in Charlie Kirk's death. Yeah, you know, for existing and, well, you know, wanting to like deport illegal immigrants.
Politics definitely has a huge part in it. Trump, and when I say Trump has a huge part in it, I don't necessarily mean he's to blame for it, but he's so divisive without really even just his face is like divisive. Like people hate him so much. In the left and the right, the rhetoric, especially to me, the left, is insane, and it just boils. And this happened when Trump, they threatened, when his assassination attempt, there's like a 3-hour period of like, let's tone down the rhetoric.
Right.
Then they're right back to it. Politics.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is like literally the victim blame. Like, if you remember that second assassination attempt, where like a lot of the news for a couple of days was like, let's turn the temperature down on both sides. But this isn't a both sides thing. Like this is fairly exclude. Like, what is the equivalent? Like, what equivalent is there to this in like any modern times? Genuinely. But yeah, this is horrible. But okay, and I have mentioned this earlier, but if there are productive ways to go about this, if you want to affect change, if you want to be the one standing, say not in Charlie Kirk's place, but if you want to be able to uphold his values or get some sort of revenge on the people who are celebrating his death. Right. I found this really interesting tweet. If any of you have watched this happen and finally decided to get involved locally and need help, a website, graphics, or anything to do with a local campaign you want to run, please reach out to me via my website contact form. This is a serious offer if you're serious. You know, there are ways to get involved, right? And you don't have to be the one that saves the country. But maybe you're one guy doing what he can do in one aspect of government, whether it be some federal agency, whether it be just your town, whether you just run for mayor, whether you just run for city council, or maybe you're just a congressional staffer. It's, government jobs are not that hard. And frankly, I would trust my chat to do a better job at government work than a lot of people currently working in the government right now. But this person here, she does have ties to she has done actual political advocacy in real life events. So she does seem to know what she's talking about. So if you do want to do that, you probably don't want to contact me. KenziePuff.com. It's like, I'm reading through my form submissions now. 7 different states so far. Proud of you all. I like in this darkest hour, I want you all to be the shining light that gets us through the end of the tunnel. Because we cannot keep living this way. We cannot keep living in this country. We cannot keep living with these people that rule over us. We are, you guys know what it takes to be popular or what popular positions, right? It will be so easy to defeat somebody who is openly celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk in like a political race. Just like the left is making themselves look insane right now. And somebody will be able to easily defeat them. Even if you're not that courageous, even if you're not that politically talented or motivated, right? There is probably something you can do. I'm not saying this to speak down on anyone, but I do hope to motivate somebody to, not, I don't want to say avenge Charlie Kirk, but like there has to be, these people have to face consequences for their actions, right? Like there is blood on their hands. Like Ashley Babbitt, Aaron J. Danielson, like if you remember 2020 in the quote unquote summer of love, Antifa killed Aaron J. Danielson for wearing a MAGA hat. I'm sure there's plenty others. Obviously, the Covington Catholic kid, right, who just, he smirked. It's like they need to face consequences for their actions. Like this bitch.
The best part of this whole goddamn thing is that he is not martyr material, so his death will mean nothing. It will activate no one. It will impact few. It's just great. The best part.
Yeah, he's not martyr material. Okay. Yeah, we will prove her wrong. I was not an avid watcher of Charlie Kirk, but I will be watching Charlie Kirk because you know what he knew how to do? He knew how to debate people. He knew how to build a very successful organization. He knew how to brush shoulders with politicians and how to influence politicians to go in a better direction. See, like here's the thing, right? He was able to work his way from within. Insulting politicians isn't going to get them to support you. But if you are, say, a congressional staffer or maybe mayoral staffer, you can be a voice in their ear, and you can tell them what's popular, what needs to be done, what issues are currently happening. These politicians don't have to be out of touch. You can be the ones telling them about what's going on. Because a lot of politicians, a lot of elected officials, they have staffers and they rely on those staffers. And you can be one of them that a politician can rely on. Dude, I'm so glad I'm not on TikTok. I'd be so pissed. I'd be doom scrolling about that too. But yeah, this was posted yesterday on TikTok and deleted. Charles James Kirk, Mr. College Dropout, does not know what's coming tomorrow. Be ready. This isn't a threat. It's a prompt. This is merely reading what a TikTok has posted. And I'm assuming, yeah, there's a lot of people that's like, oh, yeah, very bad timing. So, yeah, maybe this post does have to do or has something to do with the assassination. Maybe there's people planning this in a Discord chat. Like there's a whole group of people that were involved in this. Which we do 4chan, by the way, has found a suspect. Yeah, let's see. Does this even have the at? Is there a tick? I see like Jackson. I don't think we see the at here. But Yeah, this is completely like how are we supposed to be expected to live alongside these people? Right? And I pray that it doesn't get to street level violence. Like the way Aaron J. Danielson had to go. Because these people have clearly proven themselves unfit for society. There has been a mass psychosis that has happened and has really picked up since COVID. There's a lot of, very unhealthy people, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. And them existing alongside us and them having the same rights as us is putting us in danger. And there are a lot of people that have just been let out of prison. The judge let out a man who would end up killing a Ukrainian refugee on public transportation. He was let out of prison 14 times. He had committed 14 previous crimes. Going back all the way to 2011, there were so many opportunities to get him off the streets for good. Yet he didn't. And there is blood on his hands. There is blood on that judge's hands. There is, in fact, we do not have an over incarceration problem. We have an under incarceration problem. We have a problem where we don't have any mental asylums anymore. Because the sound of a mental asylum sounds too scary for people. Therefore, they will not vote for it. And now the entire city is an asylum because the asylum shut down. And okay. Here's a bit of levity here. This is a Copper Cab who if you were back in YouTube like the old days, you may remember Copper Cab. And then he posted Charlie Kirk was the only other internet personality that Cartman cosplayed as. Regardless of our political differences, I thought he was a stand-up guy and also incredibly brave to put himself out there in the open like that and speak his mind the way he did. Inspiring, really. I just thought this was kind of wholesome. Like, oh yeah, dude, yeah. I can't like any of your tweets, but yeah, that is a very funny connection or like weird connection that both Cartman has played as Copper Cab and Charlie Kirk here. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's funny. Okay, what more do we have? Oh, Kyle Kalinske. Let's see. What I have not seen this clip before, so let's see.
Here's something that Charlie had regularly argued, and hard disagree on this one, man. But quote, I think it's worth it to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths.
Oh, taking quotes out of context. Oh yeah.
Every single year, so we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal. It is rational. So, hey, some gun deaths every year are worth it for Second Amendment rights. It's like, well, I mean, now you're one of those people. Here's something.
Yeah, again, more out of context clips, completely trash way. And this was 20 hours ago, so less than 12 hours after he died. Like they were really quick. Let's see. What did Matt Walsh say about this?
May we all be so successful and productive that our enemies celebrate when we die. May we all be so devastating to the leftist project that they long for our demise. May we all fight so hard and so effectively that they have no choice but to try to kill us. May our lives be a problem for these people and our deaths a relief. Let them dance on my grave as they dance on Charlie's. Then I will know that I did my duty. Our opponents should be happy when we leave the ring. If they aren't, then we didn't punch hard enough. May we all be so successful and productive that.
Yeah, see that these people aren't gonna take it lying down, right? Like you kill Charlie Kirk, and now there's gonna be a lot more people that are taking his place. There's going to be a lot more people that have been radicalized because of his death, because he was a moderate and he was very soft spoken, nice, and frankly, like the right wing is going to demand solutions, a permanent solution to this political violence we have been experiencing, to the street violence we have been experiencing, to just criminals being completely let out, just slap on the wrists. They are looking for a solution, and you are giving them all the reason to give it to them. Let's see. Charleston White reacts to Charlie Kirk's death.
What's your opinions of Kirk's death? I don't give a fuck about Kirk's death. Nigga, I don't give a fuck about no white man dying. I don't give a fuck about no motherfucking white boy dying. My shit. Soon as a nigga.
Oh, that's copyrighted music. Okay, he continues.
Boy being killed by another white boy. I don't give a fuck about no white boy dying. I don't give a fuck. Fuck.
I think that's enough. Not only just because of copyright, but because frankly, no, he's just saying how they don't care. Like you know, they like this is probably one of the better reactions. He don't care if a white boy died. He probably doesn't. Oh, does he even know who Charlie Kirk is? I don't know. I'm not too familiar with Charleston White. But like the completely disgusting display of just a complete lack of humanity, a lack of sympathy at all is outrageous. And here's a clip of another elected official disparaging Charlie Kirk.
What I do know for sure is that Charlie was someone who once said guns save lives after a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Wait, Charleston White is a self-admitted rapist? What?
Complete rewriting of history.
Yeah, there is nothing more effed up, than to completely
less than 24 hours after he died, by the way.
That his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade or so, and
yeah, but here's the thing. Here's another thing. Elon? No, is that her name? Oh, Ilhan. That's the way you pronounce it. Okay. Ilhan Omar did clap back at the right-wing accounts posting that clip, saying, "While I disagree with Charlie Kirk vehemently about my rhetoric, my heart breaks for his wife and children. I don't wish violence on anyone. My faith teaches me the power of peace, empathy, and compassion. And I'm assuming her faith is Islam. Right-wing accounts trying to spin false story when I condemn this murder multiple times is fighting for their agenda to villainize the left, to hide from the fact that Donald Trump gins up hate on a daily basis." Yeah, which source on that? P.S. Here's the full interview. And obviously just posting the screenshot of it. And I'm pretty sure are there people okay, yeah, and this end wokeness account. There are people ratioing her. Liberals, conservatives, time for unity. I don't know. Is it liberals? Is it like standard liberals doing that, or is it leftists, socialists? Are there liberals left anymore? Because I genuinely don't think that if you are encouraging this stuff and wanting to celebrate the death of someone, I don't think you could call yourself a liberal, frankly. I don't see how. But obviously, do these labels mean anything? Does the term liberal mean anything? Does conservative mean anything? Obviously, does racist mean anything anymore? If it means different things to different people, then what's the point of even using the word? Here's another one. It gets worse. Thomas Massey's literal response to the shooting was effectively blaming Trump. Thomas Massey, who you may know, is a congressman, I believe, from Kentucky, a supposed Republican, by the way, who is very libertarian leaning, actually. So let's see. Representative Thomas Massey said he includes President Trump among those who should tone down their rhetoric in the wake of the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. I mean, there's a lot of rhetoric, and the president himself engages in it. He called it a hostile act to co-sponsor the Epstein resolution, said Massey, who was a leading voice in pushing a motion to force the release of the files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. I think that's ridiculous rhetoric. It's amusing, he had. It doesn't offend me that he's over the top with the rhetoric, but some people take it literally, and he should probably tone that down himself. Yeah, tone policing. That's exactly what we need after a literal murder. That's what we need. Dude, this is some of what The View had to say about the Charlie Kirk assassination, which I'm pretty sure the Charlie Kirk thing would probably get me copyright, but we can read the transcript here because obviously The View does not have any really positive things to say about conservatives or anything. But I remember they pushed the death of the Pope. They used that to push, like, they try to say he was like the first openly not openly gay, but like gay affirming, which Pope Francis, he may have been kind of liberal for a Catholic, but just because he's liberal for a Catholic does not mean he's liberal for an American. He is very conservative when it comes to America, minus like climate change and immigration, which yeah. But like he was not pro-gay. He had that he was not. And you remember when the new pope was new pope, not elected, whatever the term is for it. But when we learned that Robert Prevost was the new pope and would be Pope Leo, people got disappointed. People who were not even Catholics, like, oh, he's homophobic. It's like, obviously the Catholic Pope is homophobic. So let's read the transcript here. Alyssa Farrah Griffin, I hope it doesn't have a chilling effect whether you're left or right on your ability to speak your mind. I know the one thing we all agree about on this table. We all share our viewpoints, and we should be able to do that without fear. Well, that's our bread and butter here. So, of course, it's very important. I agree with everything you say. Sarah Haynes, well, also, we don't align with his views. Yeah, see, here's all that caveat thing. What I deeply aligned with is, he said, when we stop talking, that's when things get bad. The irony of a man who would go across the country to college campuses is where you're supposed to have discussions would go, and his series was called Prove Me Wrong. He would talk to people openly who disagreed. It's what we try to exemplify every day and say this is what we need more of. Exactly. Like even The View, who are like notorious shit libs, are toning down their rhetoric. And before we get to this, I did just see a very another politician grandstanding. Let's see. So this is Pramila Jayapal, Congress member from Washington 7 and lifelong organizer for immigrant, civil, and human rights, bold, progressive, unafraid, co-chair, Progressive Caucus PAC. So you know exactly where she stands. It's the guns. September 11th. So, he was barely in the casket. Okay, wait. Date of Republic. Hello. By now, okay, let's see the receipts here. Donald Trump wants to be an authoritarian dictator, but there's still a democracy and we're going to fight like hell to keep it that way. Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy. Of course, let's be clear. It's sad that we are even in this horrific situation. Donald Trump's disregard for our democracy and the rule of law. This was before his assassination attempt, by the way. Trump is now a convicted felon and he remains an existential threat to our democracy. The Trump administration is calling people an existential threat to our democracy. Huge ratio, by the way. But unfortunately, I'm not sure what her Congress, but she's like on the West Coast. So I highly doubt that like there's going to be any sort of Seattle, complete shithole. There's not going to be any repercussion for what she says. I hope there is. I hope that, maybe she's primaried out. Maybe a sensible Democrat can primary her out. I doubt it though. But here is a very, very long post by JD Vance, and this is what we will end the Charlie Kirk conversation on. And this is, we will continue to the Ukrainian girl who I'm blanking on her name now. Irina Zarutsky, the Zarutsky situation. A while ago, so this is from JD Vance. A while ago, probably in 2017, I appeared on Tucker Carlson's Fox show to talk about God knows what. Afterwards, a name I barely knew sent me a DM on Twitter and told me I did a great job. It was Charlie Kirk, and that moment of kindness began a friendship that lasted until today. Charlie was fascinated by ideas and always willing to learn and change his mind. Like me, he was skeptical of Donald Trump in 2016. Like me, he came to see President Trump as the only figure capable of moving American politics away from the globalism that had dominated for our entire lives. When others were right, he learned from them. When he was right, as he usually was, he was generous. With Charlie, the attitude was never "I told you so," but welcome. Charlie was one of the first people when I called when I thought about running for Senate in early 2021. I was interested but skeptical there was a pathway. We talked through everything from the strategy to the fundraising to the grassroots of the movement he knew so well. He introduced me to some of the people who would run my campaign and also to Donald Trump Jr. Like his dad, he's misunderstood, he's extremely smart, and very much on our wavelength. Don took a call from me because Charlie asked him to. Long before I ever committed, even in my mind, to running, Charlie had me speak to his donors at a TPUSA event. He walked me around the room and introduced me. He gave me honest feedback on my remarks. He had no reason to do this, no expectation that I'd go anywhere. I was polling, at that point, well below 5%. He did it because we were friends, and because he was a good man. When I became the VP nominee, something Charlie advocated for both in public and private, Charlie was there for me. I was so glad to be a part of the president's team, but candidly, surprised by the effect it had on our family. Our kids, especially our oldest, struggled with the attention and the constant presence of the protective detail. I felt this acute sense of guilt that I had conscripted my kids into this life without getting their permission. And Charlie was constantly calling and texting, checking on our family, and offering guidance and prayers. Some of our most successful events were organized not by the campaign, but by TPUSA. He wasn't just a thinker, he was a doer, turning big ideas into bigger events with thousands of activists. And after every event, he would give me a big hug, tell me he was praying for me, and ask me what he could do. You focus on Wisconsin, he'd tell me. Arizona is in the bag. And it was. Charlie genuinely believed in and loved Jesus Christ. He had a profound faith. We used to argue about Catholicism and Protestantism and who was right about minor doctrinal questions. Because he loved God, he wanted to understand him. Someone else pointed out that Charlie died doing what he loved, discussing ideas. He would go into these hostile crowds and answer their questions. If it was a friendly crowd and a progressive asked a question to jeers from the audience, he'd encourage his fans to calm down and let everyone speak. He exemplified a foundational virtue of our republic, the willingness to speak openly and debate ideas. Charlie had an uncanny ability to know when to push the envelope and when to be more conventional. I've seen people attack him for years for being wrong on this or that issue publicly, never realizing that privately he was working to broaden the scope of accessible debate. He was a great family man. I was talking to President Trump in the Oval Office today, and he said, I know he was a very good friend of yours. I nodded silently, and President Trump observed that Charlie really loved his family. The president was right. Charlie was so proud of Erica and the two kids. He was so happy to be a father, and he felt such gratitude for having found a woman of God with whom he could build a family. Charlie Kirk was a true friend, the kind of guy you could say something and to know it would always stay with him. I am on more than a few group chats with Charlie and people he introduced me to over the years. We celebrate weddings and babies, bust each other's chops, and mourn the loss of loved ones. We talk about politics and policy and sports and life. These group chats include people at the very highest levels of our government. They trusted him, loved him, and knew he'd always have their backs. And because he was a true friend, you could instinctively trust the people Charlie introduced you to. So much of the success we've had in this administration traces directly to Charlie's ability to organize and convene. He didn't just help us win in 2024, he helped us staff the entire government. I was in a meeting in the West Wing when those group chats started lighting up with people telling Charlie they were praying for him. And that's how I learned the news that my friend had been shot. I prayed a lot over the next hour, as first good news, then bad trickled in. God didn't answer these prayers, and that's okay. He had other plans. And now that Charlie is in heaven, I'll ask him to talk to Big Man directly on behalf of his family, his friends, and the country he loves so dearly. You ran a good race, my friend. We've got from here. Dude, it does really make you think, just like, is there going to be anybody that can replace Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA? Because he wasn't just like the front facing personality. He like made connections behind the scenes. He got JD Vance into the Senate, right? And frankly, I could not have expected Donald Trump to pick a better vice presidential pick than JD Vance. Like if you remember, the discussion was that he would have like either Nikki Haley or what's her name, Kristi Noem as vice president. But I do like JD Vance is much better than either of those. Maybe I think Tim Scott was also in the a name that was flown about. But that will be what I have to say about Charlie Kirk. But there is somebody else who died who we should also speak about. And that is a Ukrainian refugee by the name of Irina Zarutska. Okay. I believe I pronounced that correctly. Irina Zarutska. And this one just got posted today. So we can see, we now are seeing her boyfriend's side of the story with this. But for those who are not familiar with, is this the same video twice? 219. Yeah, okay, same video twice. But essentially, on August 22nd, 2025, Irina Zarutska died, and she was stabbed to death, which I will not show the video at all. Oh, obviously I can't on YouTube. But he essentially, the video is horrifying. I did see the video. There were multiple black people on that train, and Irina Zarutska was the only white person sitting in view of the camera. This man gets on and just with no words exchanged, goes up from behind her, stabs her. She cries. There is about like 15 seconds between her being stabbed and her passing out. And what she did in her final moments of life was cry. And she literally all she was doing, she was just, taking the train home, public transportation home, in North Carolina, mind you. Just taking transportation home from work because she worked at some pizza place. Yeah, and by the way, I'm pulling up this Wikipedia article because, mind you, it says killing, not murder. It says killing. And an editor has nominated this article for deletion. So there is a deletion discussion of this. And the topic of this article may not meet Wikipedia's general notability guideline, which this happened before Donald Trump spoke about it, the president of the United States. And
For far too long, Americans have been forced to put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end.
okay, yeah, Gruden chat said, didn't the guy who stabbed her say racist stuff when it happened? I believe that was caught on video. I do I believe that's caught on video, but the audio was a little murky, so we can't be 100% certain.
On a public train, and here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, we need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities need help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again, and that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe.
God's Doomer just sent a super chat for $10. Thank you for the wise words. I'm proud of Gen Z. You and the rest of Gen Z guys continue to impress me with wisdom beyond your years. Keep up the fight. Yeah, there are. I forget who first said this, but there are weeks when decades happen, and there are decades where nothing happens. And now. Now we have reached a week where decades are happening, and who knows what could happen. Who knows what could happen tomorrow, or what could happen the next week? And it's crazy. Cenk Uygur is the voice of reason right now. Like that. It is crazy thinking about. Okay, that's another one. Let me just yeah, fuck Thomas Massey, dude. Fuck that guy. Let me just I'm just gonna post this here. I'm worried about Trump's safety. The shooter was a professional. It'd be surprised if it was a rando lefty. If it's not random, the goal was likely to sow division and hatred. What would it create explosive rage? Hitting Trump? They should double his Secret Service protection. Cenk Uygur of all people is the voice of reason. That's how bad things have got. That even he sees how bad things are. And above anything else, just being safe, being able to live life in any way, shape, or form. You can, but that's going away. Like you're not able to afford a home on a single income, and there are many reasons because of that. The economy is in shambles, and obviously it is not declining as far as it could be or has been the last 4 to 5 years. But thing is, that's not undoing the damage that has already been done. Let's see. Ghost Kid 83. I've seen the video, Manic. He said, "Why just type below in chat." Let me see. I think it's not showing in the top chat, so maybe it got censored. Yeah, I think YouTube censored your chat, Ghost Kid. But I mean, with Donald Trump just outright acknowledging this, because I'm not sure if Donald Trump ever acknowledged Austin Metcalf, or that was earlier this year, and that did stoke a lot of racial tensions. And right after Austin Metcalf, there was that one lady who said the N-word in front of to a kid, which I'm not sure if that narrative is completely true, but she had a base and by the way, she's the law is going after her now. The law is going after her. They had already planned on moving out of the state, but no, the law is keeping them. YouTube shadow hides anything edgy. Dude, I feel like, I don't know, I do feel like YouTube has been allowing a lot of stuff I was not expecting lately. Like there is I don't know if you've been noticing, there is actual racist content or an anti-Semitic content that has been circulating YouTube recently. Which there is a lot of a lot of not buzzwords, but they do coach their language. But it was definitely Austin Metcalf that was that created the audience for this. It was, yeah, this is, and we can't they're just, and not to mention what was it, 2 weeks ago we saw a Catholic, was it a Catholic school or Catholic church, get shot up, and the shooter was transgender, because of course it was. Yeah, but then we see the boyfriend of the late Irina Zaruska, who speaks out on Instagram. It's okay, I'm not even gonna pretend like I know how to pronounce that. The boyfriend of slain Ukrainian refugee Irina Zaruska took to social media to blast the unqualified judge responsible for her killer's release, which that is a good sign, because if you remember, anytime there was any sort of crime like this happening, right? There would be coaches telling people how they should respond to the public. And now, and that just so happens to correlate with USAID just no longer existing. But yeah, she was just trying to return home from work, and she worked at a pizza shop. She could have been a Twitch streamer. She could have done some degenerate work from home job, but not her. And then she died. She died on her way home from work. I mean, I genuinely, I did see the video. It is horrifying. And a lot of people will be and have been radicalized by this. And there is no putting the toothpaste back in the bottle. I believe Canada has started like either is like prescribing laws or going after people who have like Ring doorbells or like have security cameras in their place. And the truth about that is that truth about that is that it's like, dude, we can't keep living like this, dude. I know I keep saying it, but this is horrible. The state of things. Just the like the man had 14 opportunities to be just locked in for life. 14. It was a deliberate decision to let him go, to let him be free after 14 times. And now, apparently, according to this guy, I'm not too sure how official this is. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, blocked the father of slain Ukrainian refugee from attending his daughter's funeral as he is still eligible for the draft. So yeah, like he's now her father's going to be like is still might be sent off to war. Which, if you're a father of an adult woman, you're probably too old to really be you're probably too old to be drafted for a war. But at this point, like I've seen images, and obviously when it comes to any sort of war, right? I'm not prone to believe much, but I did see an image of like not pregnant women, just like women being drafted for Ukraine, and like once she might have been pregnant. I'm not sure. I don't have this pulled up, so please take everything I say with a grain of salt right now. But it's like at that point, like what will you have left even if you do win against Russia? You are sending people to slaughter on both sides. If you're willing to send women off to combat and like, you know, mother age, you know, men who are like well above military age, men old enough to have an adult age daughter, like you are doing more damage than you are helping at that point. But there are I do think the Zelensky may be in a rock in a hard place, because there are like genuine Ukrainian militants who might kill him if he does you know, take up a peace solution with you know, Russia. So who knows, you know. But this isn't ending well. But yeah, okay. I think that's just about everything I have to cover when it comes to this Ukrainian refugee, because frankly, if you've seen the video, you will be at a loss for words, because it is horrifying. It is genuinely horrifying. And here's another person. He advocated for this is Stephen King, right? He's a writer for you know, obviously It and many other novels. This is he said he advocated for stoning gays to death, just saying. Which I'm assuming he doesn't offer proof. Okay, according to Grok, he didn't, so who knows. But there is a mass psychosis that has happened, and like there is not going to be a peaceful solution to stopping this. We just got a $5 super chat from Tony the Killa B for $5 saying, "Hey Manic, it's Pale Rider. Fight the good." I'm assuming it's supposed to say good fight. Stay gold. Yeah, just Stephen King. Stephen King. Like this isn't going to end in any like good way. Like it is going to be ugly. It is currently ugly right now. We are in the tunnel, and we can still get out of this tunnel. But it's like people like this, like there needs to be mental institutions, because you know, mental health is not gone. And also we actually need to enforce the laws that are actually on the books. Because if a 14-time convicted criminal could just get out and then kill again, or I mean, maybe that's his first time killing, but he previously committed robbery, 14 other crimes previously, dating back to 2011. Just for that to end by killing someone. That, like, it would have been better for both him and his victims if he was locked away. And maybe it was a mental health thing. Maybe a mental asylum would have been able to fix him. Who knows? But if actions don't have consequences, then they will merely just continue delving in all of their vices. If you keep committing crimes and facing no sort of pushback or consequences, then you are going to keep doing it. Okay, here's, I think I might. So I think this just recently got posted. The man who asked Charlie Kirk the transgender question before he was shot breaks his silence. The point I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was. Long pause right before he got shot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, dude.
And people have obviously pointed to the irony that the point that I was trying to make is how peaceful the left was right before he got shot. And that only makes sense if we stay peaceful. And as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk, I'm on the record for how much I disagree with Charlie Kirk, but, like, man, dude, he is still a human being. Have we forgotten that? Are we crazy? Like, and people have obviously...
There are a lot of reports, because I did mention how the shooter, it was like 4chan discovered, found that person's Spotify, SoundCloud, probably some other like glup shitto music streaming service, Instagram, Pinterest, a lot of transgender shit on the Pinterest, and literally had a song, I believe a song on Spotify called Charlie Kirk Dead at 31. If that person does turn out to be the actual assassin, right? It is unfortunately very surprising that it was a transgender shooting. Because if you remember, I remember watching in 2023. Like the reason most of you probably know who I am now, or are probably watching this, a lot of you, and how I got so prominent. It all started when VTubers were canceled for playing Hogwarts Legacy. There was a website dedicated to listing streamers who played quote unquote that wizard game. All because they played a game that was associated with with an intellectual property by J.K. Rowling. And of course, when I talk about J.K. Rowling, especially back then, there's like, oh, she's still a feminist. Oh, she's still a libtard. She is still liberal, whatever, right? And it's not about that. It's not about that. It's just, if they hate you for playing a video game, for an innocuous video game as Hogwarts Legacy, if they feel that much disgust and hatred towards fucking J.K. Rowling, the author of a children's novel series, who does not think that men should be in women's bathrooms and women's sports, then what does that say about their hatred for you? What does that say about their hatred for anybody else to the right of J.K. Rowling, who she herself is not right wing at all, really? Man, I am very glad that this man spoke out. Please pray for him. Okay, I'm able to like stuff again. But Kino Flex in chat says I wanted to tell him that he was on the wrong side of her story, but it turns out I was. Yeah, listen. Yeah, I don't know. Genuinely, this will be an opportunity for people to realize just how wrong they were, and just how much hatred they've delved in. And maybe people will take a chance to reflect on their previous actions and regret everything they said about Charlie Kirk, other right wingers, you know, because this man right here, H3, right? They are not beyond redemption. They are still capable of turning things around, right? And this isn't about like conservatives that are on his side memorializing him, making him a martyr, right? This is about normal people, and this is about people that may disagree with Charlie Kirk. They are going to be the ones that determine what leftist politics will look like in the future. And you know what? I could live, right, with a bunch of H3s debating against me. But when it comes to Hassan Piker, I have a feeling if I was in a room alone with a bunch of Hassan Piker fans, then all I know is all it takes is one of them to be crazy enough and to have a weapon on them. AC for $2 says, so this guy is saying Kirk won his last debate. That's true. I'm quote tweeting that. Charlie won his final debate. Okay, all right, I'm posting that. Even in death, Charlie Kirk won his final debate. Okay, there is you know what? I don't want to show you any of this like degeneracy and filth. I don't want to show. I want this to be the end of the stream. Because the man who disagreed with Charlie Kirk, he's clearly very shunned about what happened to him. And I'm assuming he must have been very close in proximity to Charlie Kirk in person. Yeah. And I just want to leave this at this. There are very productive ways to go about things, right? And if there's anything I want you guys to take away from this, whatever you feel now, just know that you are capable of doing something to make sure Charlie Kirk's death is not in vain. And frankly, there are enough podcasts. I don't want to be the guy to say this, as I'm speaking to a podcast microphone, but there needs to be accountability for these people, and that will involve people taking positions of power. And here's the thing I now disagree with Charlie Kirk on. I do think that going to college can be justified, right? If you want to be in the FBI, the CIA, 3-letter agencies, etc., right? I would trust you people to be in those three-letter agencies, or whether it be an elected official, a staffer for an elected official, or campaigning for a politician you agree with, right? That those may seem small right now, but give it just 5 years, maybe even 10 years. That's once you go with that, you will be prominent. And whether you don't necessarily need to be a celebrity, but you can be prominent in politics. You can make change. Because behind Charlie Kirk, there was a lot of people who were members of TPUSA, and people that he brushed shoulders with behind the scenes. It's like this will be devastating, but if you remember, if Charlie Kirk can get fundraisers to get behind JD Vance when he was running for Senate, before he was even running for Senate, right? Imagine the people you would be able to get into a public office once you are able to kind of make those connections. I do hope all of you think about this, think about what I have to say, and pray about this situation. What, Charlie Kirk, this whole situation, America in general, because this is this will be an era where you will be able to rise up, right? People are no longer getting fired. I mean, people are getting fired for having like right wing, vaguely opinions, but it's nowhere near what it was like 4 to 5 years ago. And now there are people going after people's jobs who are openly celebrating murder of Charlie Kirk, right? There is a website out, I believe it's called charliesmurderers.com, where people are submitting information of people who are just posting with their face, name, and their bio, and even maybe where they go to college, where they work, and they're posting their information on that website. Like that's like something is changing. The hearts and minds of people are moving. It was starting last year broadly, but yeah, so something is coming up and it won't be pretty. So I understand if you are fearful to get involved, considering what just happened today. But if you look at the Ukrainian refugee, she fled a war-torn country to avoid getting killed in the heat of battle. But America isn't safer. She died in America, a place that she was supposed to take refuge in. If you can die in public transportation, then would you rather yeah, I don't know, I can't. Yeah, I'm going, like, after this stream, I'm going to log off right now. Yeah, but there are not enough people that are willing to actually do the ground game, right? And to go door knocking, go places in real life, because there's a lot of people who just like to talk shit online. But Charlie Kirk, he interacted with people in real life, and that is how you change hearts and minds. And hopefully there is a day that hearts and minds can be changed again through civil debate. But I am afraid that that time is no longer with us. The idea of civil debate and discourse has died with Charlie Kirk. And now it's just about winning. And you are going to have to win against people who want you dead. And there'll become a time where it's either you will look back at this moment as the start of the end, or when the start of the beginning of something new. And hopefully you'll be able to look back upon what you did in this time and say that you did something. You were able to make a change in the darkness that is an open political assassination that we experienced this earlier this year when it came to those Minnesota State House reps. But this man is not even a politician. He literally debated people. I think that's all I have to say. I am looking to be as far away from the internet as possible today, or any sort of content creation. But just know you can make a difference. And I genuinely hope you all consider it. Okay, I hope you'll have a good one. Peace out. Good. I'm logging off for the day.